How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Um, I'm watching my new little foster kitten. So if you hear noise in the background or you hear the headphones moving, that's him chewing on him. So it's been suggested that I cover this, details announced for the American XL Bully dog being banned in England and Wales. So it'll be banned apparently from the December 31st, and owners have until January 31st to register their dogs to keep them from being either detained or removed from their homes or destroyed or euthanized, however you want to say it. Put down. This is being brought on, I believe, because this is seen as a dangerous dog and because of the attacks or maulings or people being killed and attacked by dogs that match this type of either description or breed DNA. Excuse you. Thank you. Apparently the people that are breeding and or training or lack of training of these extra large American bullies are making very dangerous dogs. So, there's nature and nurture. I believe that dangerous dogs or dogs are not necessarily, born dangerous. They're raised or they can learn behaviors, but anything can happen. Again, you can have it's a powerful dog. Any dog can be dangerous, but it's how you interact with them, it's how you raise them, it's how you teach them and train them. If you want to see this, there's more of it on theguardian.com, or you can just look up extra large bully breed ban in England and Wales. I'm going to be showing you in the next clip a video of how I personally work to condition any dog of any age or size or sex or breed to accept a muzzle, preferably a basket muzzle, as these dogs are required to, if you do have your dog registered and basically save them, you are required to have them muzzled and leashed at all times when outside the home. So up next is going to be a video showing you how I do that and how I work with dogs to condition that. So if you're ready for that, then let's get started. Okay, so here we are working with our muzzle. So this is a Baskerville muzzle, not a sponsor. This is just a brand name that I happen to have. I got a long time ago for Adonis, just as a safety. This is something I always have on hand for every dog, just because you never know. It's always good to actually train any dog. I suggest any dog be trained to accept a muzzle comfortably. So first off, when we do have a muzzle, I always recommend a basket muzzle. This is a version of a basket muzzle. The company's name is Baskerville. I guess that's all they do is basket muzzles. I don't know. But this is a size 2. Obviously, this is too small for this guy, as you can see. It doesn't quite fit. And this was even, I think, a little bit too small for Adonis. A little bit too short. So if I'm going to have a muzzle on a dog, I like to make sure that their nose right here is not going to rub on the edge here like this. I want it to be a little bit bigger, so I might go one size bigger and then condition the dog to where we don't have to worry about them trying to paw off their face. The way this muzzle is built is it goes over the head. Obviously, this strap goes behind the dog's head. This guy's too big for it to fit on, but so this will be strapped on behind the dog's head. This one has an extra design, a backup design. This little clip here would go behind the head and hook up high onto this part or onto another collar, onto a high collar. It also has a design here, a little loop here that you can loop a collar through. So if your dog does happen to paw off, it's still connected. Hermes, if you hear scratching in the background, that's Hermes. He found a bag to play in that has bubble wrap in it, so he's having fun. So my first goal, get a good quality muzzle. If your dog's going to be wearing one a lot just because you want to practice with it, or if, unfortunately, in this case, it is required by law to take your dog even for everyday walks and outings, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So I would get a good quality muzzle, get a proper size for them. I like to make sure, I'm a little bit extra, so if I had a muzzle like this, I would I would take this little strap and come off here. This little strap can come off. You can put it back on. So I would have it just like this for me. And I would add some extra padding right in here. Some of them may have padding. So if you do pay a little bit extra, I recommend doing that to have a better quality, safety tool, muzzle. So just like with Adonis's harness here, this is a really cheapy harness that I got. He's no longer in training. He hasn't been for a long time. You're always training, but I just got this one specifically because it had this little cape here, and it has the spot for the patches, and I put these on just as a way to keep other loose dogs. Hermes is attacking a giant pillow 10 times his size. Sorry. To keep loose dogs from running up on him. People saw this and they kind of gave us some space, even though Adonis was totally fine. But either way, maybe you might consider doing this for your dog as well when you're just going out with this as safety. So the reason I got this was for this, but it also had this, it was again a cheapy harness. It has really, really stiff, rough nylon. So I added this padding. I added this and all of this under here. So this is just regular fleece. As you can see, it was worn out. This part not so much worn out, but this is just some fleece I got from my local Joann's fabric store, your local fabric store. And I had one layer on top of the strap, and on the back I have a piece of foam padding sandwiched in between two more pieces of fleece. So you have the fleece, padding, fleece sewn together, and that goes on the part that would be touching the skin. So it'd be going on this side, the underside of the harness, and then I had another layer of fleece over top, just so that way it's like a little sleeve. I would probably do the same thing with a muzzle if I were to have a dog that would either require it by law or just for safety, that would be wearing a muzzle a lot of the day or a lot of the time. If I had a dog that needed to wear a muzzle for whatever reason, and they were going to be wearing it for quite frequently, I would personally probably put the same kind of thing, put a little bit of padding, put a little bit of fleece, and either sew it there and wash it by hand, or you can use maybe some kind of Velcro, or you can use little snap buttons, whatever you do. Just you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do it at all. For me, I just like to go the extra step to make sure my pet is very well comfortable. Even though Adonis was a double-coated dog, something like this rubbing nylon that's really stiff could probably rub on a dog like this. A Dalmatian would have a very short coat and sensitive skin, and it could probably rub in there and just not be very comfortable. Same thing could happen with a muzzle. So I don't want anything to be rubbing on my dog's nose. I want it to be as positive as possible. These are already nice and soft or rounded edges, but sometimes it can rub the fur off if it's really tight, ill-fitted, or even if it is looser, because you want your dog to have room, and it can still rub. So that's just what I would do. So you can add a little bit of crafting creativity to it if you want to, but you don't have to. So the next step is training your dog to accept a muzzle. And I say accept a muzzle and condition a muzzle. Don't just go shove it on your dog's face and then, if you have to, there's cases where we have to. I get that. But I like to train a dog to accept it and willingly put their nose in it and see it as just another part of their everyday gear, like a harness. Just putting their harness in, you can show it to a dog. They stick their little head in through, they put their legs in on their own. They're good to go. So to start with this, then I would have the muzzle nice and open. For me, I would take the little top strap off. That's just me. You can also train it with the top strap, but just make sure it's not dangling. It's not going to hit your dog, and make them, spook them or make them uncomfortable. Have it open just like this, and I take a little treat, and I put it in the little mouth hole. Your muzzle may or may not have that, but you can put a little treat on the inside, and just present it to your dog. Your dog can come over, they'll sniff, they'll go in, they'll get the treat. Just wait for them to get the treat, and wait for them to take their head away. I'm not worried about them taking their head away. I'm not going to correct them. I'm not going to try and hold them there or shove their head in, or hold it and strap it. I don't want to be spooky. I don't want to try and ambush them. Put a little treat in, they go and get it, take their head out, perfect. I'll do another time, repeat a couple of times, and then you can start holding the treat there and not letting them get to it right away. They can kind of nibble it on it a little bit, but they're getting used to having this on their nose and their face for a little bit longer. Then you can give them the treat. You can release it with your fingers. They get their little treat and they move away. And then you can not have the treat in your hand, just present the muzzle, let them figure it out. They may try it. when they do, and they may put their nose in and leave it there, and you can give them a treat, or they may put their nose in and take it away. You can also reward for that. Do this as many times as you want to throughout the day. Just keep it nice and short, keep it fun. You may even put a little bit of like peanut butter in there, or like doggy cheese whiz, like the filling they have for Kongs, and they can lick it. Might make it a little bit messy, but if you don't mind cleaning it up and making sure it's nice and clean on the inside, then do what works for you and your dog. Over time, we want the dog to get used to having this on their muzzle. So just like a sit stay or any other stay, we want to increase duration. So say the dog, we can even make it a cue where they put their little nose in it, and then we have them wait before we give them a little treat, or we can have a little treat, hold it there, and then we can start to bring this strap around the head and just hold it in place. Hopefully your muzzle wouldn't be this tight and just stationary on your dog like this. This would be an ill-fitting muzzle in my opinion. Gonna rub and stuff. So if you're holding it like this, and you can kind of just hold it in place, holding onto both straps, which would fit for an appropriate fit, which hopefully would have an appropriate fit on your dog. Make sure ears are not caught in there. Hold it for a couple of seconds, give them a couple of treats during that time, and then take it off, or allow them to back out of it. Again, repeat the whole process, do that, and then over time, you can, instead of just holding the strap, you can begin to pull it through. Some of them have a snap. Some of them have this little thing going on. So you can put it on one little loop, and then you can quickly remove it, take it off your dog. One thing to know, if you have something like this takes time to maneuver, to get it in. You can have snags, you can have all sorts of things. So it takes longer to deal with one of these types of buckles than a regular snap. Do not get frustrated with your dog if they start panicking and freaking out when you're trying to do this. If you're having trouble with this and they're no longer sitting, if you tell them to sit, but when you put their muzzle on and they start standing up or fidgeting when you're trying to get this because you're having trouble, you don't get to get mad at your dog, okay? You're not going to help anything. They are being patient and waiting for you. This is more of like a personal thing I have with beef with somebody who always gets mad at their dog. Look, figure out a different way to put it on quick and easy, okay? Don't get upset with your dog. If you're having trouble, take a break, give them a couple more treats, maybe figure out a different, maybe you can put your own strap on here, change it, or get a different muzzle that has one of those little clips. If you do have a clip and you put it on, you can still struggle. But when you're doing this, if you're over here fighting, your dog has this rubbing on their face, and you're over here and sit, oh, I said sit, and yelling at him, you wouldn't be watching my channel anyway. But don't yell at your dog, please. Your dog didn't ask for any of this, okay? So if you're having trouble even with the snap, make sure there's no ears in the way, make sure there's no hair in the way, make sure there's no skin in the way. If you're trying to adjust it while you're putting it on your dog, I always suggest take the muzzle off, adjust it however you need to with, something with say, something like this. Don't adjust this while it's on your dog's face because you're going to struggle with it. I suggest taking it off the dog, adjusting it while you have, you have it off the dog's face, and then putting it back on. Just some helpful advice. Your dog may hate the object less if you don't make them associate you with you or it with lots of fumbling around, and you're getting mad at them, and they're trying to just be patient, and you're just over here. And put yourself in their shoes, and if you have to use this, make it a positive one. So you have your dog, they put their little nose in there, you can put it on, don't just slam it on, you put it on, you tie it up, put the little thing, let them wear it a couple times, give them a couple of treats, take it off, slowly increase duration that they wear it. If at any point they start pawing it off, try to get their attention, and if they continue to paw, okay, we need to take it off next time. We need to practice a shorter amount of time that it's on. We need to take it off before they start to try to paw it. When they're comfortable with it and they can wear it, have them practice wearing it throughout the house. When you go for a walk, put it on. You can expect a couple of different reactions from your dog. When they have it on, they're so excited to be outside, they don't notice it anymore. Great. Or when they go outside, it becomes so much more anxious and anxiety inducing because they may feel more trapped, or it's so distracting to them that they don't even want to go for the walk. So if that happens, practice more inside. Unfortunately, for some cases, you won't be able to walk your dog without one of these, like in the UK, due to upcoming laws. So all the more reason to make it a really positive thing. You know, put it on your dog. When you can put it on, you can strap it on, they're good to go. Then try walking just throughout the house. With these, it's a little bit difficult for the dog to get the treats if you throw them on the ground. So you can try that, or you can just have like a little spoon of peanut butter, or, you know, peanut butter on a stick, and you know, just kind of, you know, have it, lure it in front of them, you know, have it a couple feet away, they go for it, they can, you know, lick a little bit of peanut butter at the end of the spoon, and then keep moving. And during that time, you could have their regular leash and collar on, their regular harness, and you're just walking throughout the house holding a little stick there, getting them used to it. Over time, the walk itself becomes the reward. When they don't worry about this, this is just as normal to them as a collar or a harness or the leash. They will even start to see this and associate, oh, this means I get to go outside. They can still have a great time. If you have to use this regularly, then I suggest also making sure it stays nice and clean. You know, if you are going to be using, I would just use regular, you know, hand soap and water. If you are going to be using cleaning agents, make sure that you really rinse it off. We don't want this to be smelling strong of like bleach or Clorox or cleaning solutions, because then your dog has to wear it on their face and they have a very strong sense of smell. So if you do wash it off and you do want to sanitize it, maybe put it in the dishwasher. I don't know if they're dishwasher safe or whatnot, but just make sure that you really, really rinse it off really well. And yeah, try to keep them clean and comfortable for your dog. So that's generally how I would get a dog used to it. To break the steps down, start with it, little treat, you put their nose in and out, in and out. It's a fun little game. Then you slowly increase the amount of time they stay in there, holding onto the treat. You might not hold the treat and wait for them to put their nose in there and then reward. You might, you know, when they're doing that, they put their nose in, and you might wait for them to see how long they're going to stay there before you reward. Each dog is different. Adonis didn't like that free shaping. He preferred luring. Free shaping made him too frustrated, so I said, okay, I'll lure you and I'll fade the lure out. Some dogs are great. They just figure it out on their own. No problem. When they're comfortable with that, you can slowly start holding the strap behind their head, release, let go. Remember the steps of pressure and release. All of this is pressure, and this is release. And then we can reward. Or stimulus, they put their nose in on their own, you hold it. Their response is being still, and they get their reward. Removing this and reward. And then just practice walking around the house with it. You know, get your dog used to it and listen to your dog. You may move very quickly with this process, or it might take a little while. So just try to be as patient as you can, and make it as fun as you can. If you need to take your dog out for walks and they're not quite used to this yet and they're pawing at it, try to make, you know, bring something fun and exciting for them. Make it as positive as you can with them. And then in the meantime, work on this 30 seconds at a time, multiple times throughout the day. So I hope that helps. I'm so sorry to hear about the bad news, the very unfortunate news, but I do wish everyone the best of luck with their bully dogs, even close approximation to a bully dog, XL bully dogs, anything of the sort. You know, I wish you all the absolute best with your pups, and I hope that everyone is safe as can be. So thanks for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions. Let me know what you thought of this video. And in the meantime, try to practice patience, peace, and positivity.